Hello, my name is Veronique Jones, and today I'm talking about the site Pet Harbor in this brief presentation. First is the executive summary. I have done a usability test for the site Pet Harbor. After this test, I have noticed that there are a few areas which need improvement. I've come up with a few recommendations that will improve the site. Those recommendations are to give a brief description on what the site is about on the home page, have the ability to choose if you want a cat or a dog, show pictures and information on the type of pet, and have the contact information at the top. All of these recommendations I mentioned will be talked about more in depth later on in this presentation. Now we have the site's analysis. This is where I find good points and concerning points. First, let's talk about the good. This is the lost pet page. The page works great because you have all the information you need right in front of you. You can choose dog, cat, or other animal if you have a different type of pet. And then you can choose to register to receive an email on a potential match of your pet. The next is our concern. This is the Contact Us page. This is probably one of the most concerning pages because it doesn't have contact information at the top, just frequently asked questions. And this happens to be something that I'm going to talk about in my recommendations later on in the presentation. As we move on, it's the mobile view. I looked up the Pet Harbor site on a tablet, and I was shocked that I could barely see the text because it was really small. Fortunately, I had the ability to zoom in. The layout does become smaller, so the site is adaptable to mobile devices. Summary of usability test. When I conducted the usability test, I asked the participants to attempt to use Pet Harbor. I also told them to think out loud as much as possible. I then gave them several tasks to do, which were to find information about your lost pet. Click on where you would go if you wanted to look at some pets to adopt. And click where you think you would go if you wanted to see information about the site or if you had a question. Then I asked them for feedback as well as their final thoughts. Now we move on to the redesign strategy. This is all the recommendations that I mentioned earlier on. Number 1, give a brief description on what the site is about on the home page. The site may have had a small summary, but it would have been nice if the text was bigger and was placed at the top instead of having Pet Harbor mobile app and how to download it at the top. Number 2, have an option where you can choose if you want a cat or a dog. On the Adopt a Pet page, you aren't given the option to choose whether you want a cat or a dog. The first thing you see is the shelters. Number 3, show pictures and information about the type of pet you want. As I have stated, you don't have the option to choose if you want a cat or a dog. It would have been better if you were able to choose your type of pet, and then different pictures of what you chose appeared. For instance, if you chose a dog, pictures of dog would appear, and then their information underneath it. For example, their breed, their age, whether they're male or female, and then it'll be their location, which is the shelter they are in, and where they are located at. And then finally, number 4, on the Contact Us page, have the contact information at the top. As have stated earlier on the site analysis page, the first thing you see is frequently asked questions. Personally, I would be confused if that was the first thing I saw on a Contact Us page. I know that users would normally want to see on a Contact Us page is the email address and then the phone number. The only thing you get is, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, in very small letters but bold, technical support, contact here. That's not what anyone would call contact information. If this were to be changed, I'm pretty sure it would be less confusing and the site would be a lot better for everyone. This is Verity Jones, and this has been my discussion and recommendations for the site Pet Harbor. Goodbye!